across the borders now, and the Taliban has pledged not to seek revenge against their opponents in Afghanistan. In their first press conference since taking power, as the United States said they would hold the insurgents to their promises to respect human rights. The Taliban already appear set to enjoy a warmer international reception than their draconian 1996 to 2001 regime, with Russia, China and Turkey praising the militants' initial public statements.
In the Afghani capital of Kabul, some shops opened as the Taliban forces told government staff to return to work, though residents reacted cautiously and few women took to the streets. Tens of thousands of people have tried to flee the country to escape the hardline Islamist rule expected under the Taliban, or fearing direct retribution for siding with the Western-backed government in power over the past 2 decades. But the Taliban spokesman says there will be a new regime to be formed soon, and that would connect with all sides and would be positively different from their 1996 to 2001 stint at the helm, infamously for deaths by stoning and barring women from working in contact with men.
Those who have gone to the airport out of fear and are still waiting to leave the country will not be harmed if they return home.
In parts of the city, schools are reopened with young girls and women returning to learn, another issue that many feared would be abolished under the regime.
We are bound by the rights of women that have given by Sharia. Our sisters and mothers will be given all the rights that God has given them.
They say women would not be required to wear the all-covering burqa. The US, in its response, has said if the Taliban respect the rights of the citizens, the US will be looking for them to uphold that statement. Meanwhile, those who fled Afghanistan have arrived in camps in Turkey and the UAE, with many more countries coming into Kabul to evacuate their people. Kenya is yet to announce any plans to reach out to its citizens who may want to be evacuated from the country. Washington has authorized the deployment of 6,000 troops to ensure the safe evacuation of embassy staff, as well as Afghans who worked as interpreters or in other support roles. Other governments, including France, Germany, India and Australia, have also organized charter flights. US President Joe Biden and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced the group of 7 would stage a summit next week on the crisis, with the EU foreign policy chief saying that the Taliban have won the war, so they will have to talk to them in order to come to an agreement. US President Joe Biden's administration believes that any long-term relationship with the future Afghan government would depend on respect for women's rights and rejecting extremists such as Al-Qaeda. Only 3 nations, Pakistan, the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, recognized the previous Taliban regime, which imposed an ultra-austere interpretation of Islam.